Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Press Play. I'm your host, JJ48, and tonight we will hopefully be finishing The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. So, uh, I'm on a save screen at the moment just because it immediately goes from here into a cutscene. So, let's uh, let's get started. This is it. Once we defeat Malladus, all of this can end. Link and Zelda. I shall accompany you from here on out. It's too dangerous for just the two of you. But your wounds from our battle are still fresh, and what's to come will be very demanding. It's my turn now, Master. It's the least I can do. Yes, Angine, it's time for you to rest. Nice version of the Zelda theme. JJ48, Smile, and I can take care of them. After all, it's just Malladus and Cole. It'll be a piece of cake. Overconfidence. It's exactly what we need right now. You should stay behind too, Byrne. You're both too injured to help us now. As you wish, my dear. It's up to you two then, JJ48, Smile, and Zelda. May the spirits be with you. I can do no more. You must go forth on your own. So I'm assuming that Phantom is for Zelda to use, or else are you just deciding to switch sides and have it attack us? Thank you for everything, Angine. It's time for us to go. Oh, but one last thing before we go. Once we put all this ugliness behind us, we'll both resume our normal lives. When that happens, what are you going to do? What will you become? Okay, engineer, warrior, or dunno. So, this choice, I believe, actually does affect an ending cutscene. So, we'll make sure to check out all three of them on afterwards. But for now, I mean, come on. Did you see the way we're dressed? We're certainly not dressed like a guard, and we don't think we're dressed like a dunno, so we're definitely going to be an engineer. I see. Well, I think we can go now. Her ancestors would be proud of her. You've gone far enough, Cole. This is where it ends. You again. The Demon King's return is nigh, you know. Yet here you are, making a nuisance of yourselves. You insolent little fools. It's time you received the punishment you deserve. Thought we stopped this thing. Your Majesty, your resurrection is complete. Please use your power to destroy these two. I don't like the sound of that. Evil Zelda's got Majora eyes, almost. This is it. Oh. Looks like we're going to want this. Oh, there's... You have to get away. Okay. Okay, we can cut those ropes. Okay. Ah, ow. Okay, there's not really much of a place to get away here. Okay, let's... Instead of doing this... Oh. There we go. Okay, let's have Zelda... Zelda move... Would you stop doing that? Okay. I'm not sure I would have known about it if I hadn't read about it before, but we want to get Zelda up to her body. Can I hit you? What? Ow. Okay, this is a much more involved fight than I was anticipating. Like, from what I was reading, I was expecting the rats to come like maybe every few seconds, not constantly. Okay, so she can withstand the lasers. Just need to not get ahead of her. Oh, come on. I didn't even have time to do anything there. Oh, stay. Ah. There we go. Yes. Okay, we needed to shoot Malladus with the bow of light now. Make sure it glows. There we go. And hope that that only hurt Malladus and not Zelda's body. Oh, hey, we have the track design on our sword. Your Majesty! You won't escape this time, Malladus. Release me! JJ48, smile. Be careful. Don't worry about me. Just get away from Malladus. And by get away, you meant run directly towards him, right? Not necessarily how I would have expected to see a train die, but okay. JJ48, smile. JJ48, smile. Please open your eyes. Are you all right? I am. I can't help but notice that you are still a ghost. Also, the feathers look like you have 3 ears. 3 left ears. But, oh no. Oh no, why can't she get into it? Stop! That vessel belongs to His Majesty! Quickly, Your Majesty! You must hurry back to Zelda's body! Why? Why isn't this working? You cannot give up now. Your body has the sacred power of the spirits. Now concentrate on reclaiming it. Was not expecting to see Burns show up. Okay. After all, didn't you say you wanted to have words with me? If there really is a sacred power in my body, please let it hear me. Tetra, please give me your blessing. Okay, interesting that we're looking back to Tetra if we're calling on ancestors, because Tetra would be the founder of this kingdom, but not the original Zelda. So this, but I guess in this kingdom, they would probably look at Tetra rather than back to old Hyrule, which is no more. So. Go now, right now. Well, at least she's not in a phantom body. That would have been considerably worse. Am I back? Okay, yeah, probably not the time for celebration just yet. Okay. Bravo, Your Majesty, bravo! But time is short, Your Majesty. Please do await the boy and capture Zelda. Your Majesty? Please, no! Okay, that end for Cole I kind of saw coming. Oh. Okay. This vessel is rejecting my spirit. Interesting. I think we've seen Ganon kind of in beast form, sort of like that, in Twilight Princess. But I wonder, was it Devouring Coal that let him do this? Kind of have the two horns going on there. Is this maybe Cole's the actual form when he's not pretending to be a more humanish advisor guy? I'm slipping from it. Okay, don't expect me to, leap to help you with that, to be perfectly honest. I can't hold on for long. But the world will crumble in the time I have left. Yeah, definitely not going to help you with that. Come on, let's settle this once and for all. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to concentrate on channeling my power. While I do that, please protect me from Malladus. Okay. Just a second. Let me, this. Okay, so we need to protect her from Malladus. I'm going to save here so I don't have to redo the whole battle if we fail. Okay. Oof, let's try again. Okay. Yeah, Malladus, can you go through that one more time? Okay. Okay, that's... Okay, it's hard to hit these. Can I hit him with the whip? The whip seems to be pretty easy when it works. Okay, whip does not work. Okay. Okay, sorry, Zelda. Let's take it again from the top. Okay, hit that. Hit that. Get hit by that. Okay, that was a little early. That's kind of what I wanted to do, but I was hoping to do the super spin later. Ah, come on. Oh, when it hits Zelda, does that damage when it hit Zelda, or did I take a hit that I didn't notice? Okay, I didn't take... Maybe I did take damage when it hit Zelda. Okay. Oh yeah, I do take damage when it hits Zelda. Okay. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. Mainly because I just have a hard time actually controlling Link to swing when I want him to swing. Okay, now let's try... Ah! Okay, a little bit too much there. Maybe I don't want to do the whirlwind attack, because then I can't... If I do the whirlwind attack, I get dizzy and then can't do a follow-up. Okay. Come on! Zelda, maybe if you face this way, you could dodge yourself and not have to, you know, just have me try to hit these things. Okay, this... This fight would be incredibly trivial if we could just assign swinging the sword to a button instead of having to click on stuff. Okay. Okay. I wonder how far back it'll take me. I do have a save state, but let's just see how far back it's going to take us. Because if it's just the beginning of the battle... Although... Oh yeah, we're not doing all that. I hit that. Okay. Zelda, you almost ready? Okay. Ah! Oh, come on. I have to start all over again? Okay, I guess when he shoots out the 4, maybe that's when we'll try to do the spin attack. Okay, getting a little better. Oh. Oh, did we manage to do it? Okay, I'm going to save right there. No! Come on. Come on. Let's... We're so close. Okay, now. Okay, having a hard time getting like 2 spin attacks in a row. Come on. Well, almost got it. Ah! Okay, didn't mean to do that. Was trying to save it and accidentally... Okay. Woo! Thank you for protecting me. Let's combine my sacred power with the power of the spirit flute. I think we can use them to weaken Malladus. This is it. Just follow along with me. Red, purple, yellow, green, red. Hey! Oh. Okay, so maybe because we screwed up the first time, I thought that we just repeated it till we did it, but okay. Let's try this. So I think now we should be pretty safe. The main thing with the battle that just made it very tricky is that, as far as I could see, there was no progress made. You either did everything and managed to defeat him, or Zelda got hit and you'd start all over from the beginning of the cycle. But now we should be able to keep trying with our... All you have to do is play the same notes I'm playing. Yes, Zelda, I've done this several times. I know how to do it. I'm just not very good at it. Okay? So let's try it once more. These are not the same notes you're singing. Calm down. What did I miss there? Okay. Apparently I missed something, or didn't get something in the right time. Okay, I hope I didn't start too early there. Okay, good. Hey, it's that guy. And that guy. And him. Him. All right, well, we put a mark on his back. Distract him. When I see an opportunity, I'll shoot him in the back with the bow of light. This is the last battle, so let's make it count. Okay. Okay. Distract Malladus. How? Okay, we need to get it so that... Come on. Here, boy. There we go. Okay, a little too close there, buddy. Let's get you a little further away from Zelda. Nope, over here. There we go. Oh, JJ48, give him your worst. Shouldn't I give him my best? Alright, well, we broke one of his horns. That's good. Hey, no. Come on, over here. Oh. I wonder why that didn't hit him. Ah. Just a little too late there. Would you stop doing that? Why? It looks like it should be a good shot, and then it's not. There we go. I think sometimes he does that just like we can't hit him. He does it deliberately when we try to attack. There we go. Come on. Keep attacking. Don't roll. Okay, we broke his horns. Right there, hold on. Come on, let's... Just one last push. much easier the way Linebeck did it, of just hold up the sword and let the demon impale itself. But, did we do it? Hey! I'm assuming that's a good thing for us. Bad for Malladus. Yeah, looks like you're not going to be destroying the world today. We did it! So it's all over now. But we were too late. What? Oh, Angine. I'm so sorry. Byrne was trying to protect me. Yes, but there should be no regrets. He wouldn't have had it any other way. Besides, our kind are the servants of the spirits. We don't disappear that easily. What do you mean? The spirit is persistent, my dear. Byrne may not have any memory of these events, but years from now he'll return in a new form. You see, as Locomos, we weren't only meant to protect the spirit tracks, we were also meant to watch over mankind. But our protection is no longer needed. Even without the spirit's guidance, you will do well. This is sounding like an excuse for you to just kind of back out of your responsibilities there. What, is Malladus the only threat that mankind ever has or ever will face? So I think I will return to the heavens, in the company of my old friend Byrne. Oh hey, she does have legs. Okay. And Jean, wait! Please watch over this land, my dear. And JJ48 smile, you must help her. Goodbye, and thank you. Thank you both. Oh, I guess there's the other ones as well, who are looking like they're kind of making the colors of the spirit pipes, the spirit flute, although I don't think it's quite the same order. Aw, isn't that sweet? Alright. We have Zelda returning and her attendant, butler, whatever was, is all excited to see her again. Remember, we a couple times dragged him around to places because he was looking for her. Okay, there's Alphonse working on the engine. As some of the village kids watch on. Linebeck, I guess, selling stuff to him, maybe making a deal with him. Got a statue of Tingle. Maybe we're going to buy the statue of Tingle, although I'm not sure why we would want it. Oh, Nico's telling... Looks like telling the story now. Burn, fighting Link. So, okay, Nico's got a new story to tell. Although the kids don't look that interested. And we see... going around on the train again. Although we don't have the cannon anymore. I guess we don't need it now that the enemies are gone. Bunny guy looking to catch some bunnies near the this was the Timber Village. Nuki are safe again. I can see a little bit of their new fence over there. These are the people on those islands. I'm not sure who they're waving at. Who would be on the ship there? I don't recall meeting any good guys on boats. Goron's in their hot springs. I guess the mountain's back to the right temperature, being able to get us some good hot springs without throwing lava all over the place. Ferris still snapping pictures, although, okay, now we have our cannon again. Maybe there's some dangerous spots where we still have to take the cannon with us at times. Okay, if Zelda's flying, this is clearly while we were adventuring, not present day, so maybe some of these are a little bit out of order as well. Or maybe that was a commissioned picture. Maybe Zelda had that made to commemorate our adventure. Remember, that was the chime that's on the golden engine, which was the last one we had equipped. Interesting, so I guess it plays whichever engine we had done. So, the end. Okay. Alright, so there we have finished The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. Let's look at it a bit more in our post-game. Let's start off with, as I mentioned, we have a few different endings. And this one was the engineer ending. Zelda asked, "Hey, what are you going to do after this?" And we said engineer. So that's why we got this one. Let's check out the other endings. This is not my YouTube video. This is somebody else's we're looking at. I will be sure to post a link in the description if you want to check out the full video or any of their other stuff. But let's check out the Dunno ending. Okay. What will you become? Dunno. I see. Well, I think we can go now. So, okay, so the Dunno ending, Link apparently headed off and did something, and now so Zelda still remembers her adventure fondly, but there is no sign of Link there. So now let's check out the warrior ending. Actually, I included Minish Cap music in this. Okay, so we will become a warrior afterwards. It seems Link is training with the soldiers now, and Zelda seems to have distracted him. So, okay. Well, good. So those are our endings. And thinking about the three endings there, we had um, Engineer with Link continuing presumably to focus on being an engineer and also kind of fulfilling Ferris's dream of there being such a thing as a legendary engineer. Um, and we had Warrior, where Link is training with the soldiers and presumably is going to be, one of the guards or something in Hyrule. And then we had Dunno, where Link is just absent; he's gone off. And it seems to me kind of interesting with these. Let me pull up. Maybe easiest to pull up our. Um, okay. So looking at our timeline here, of course, uh, Spirit Tracks is after Phantom Hourglass, but just thinking of all these games and what happens to Link afterwards, in most of them, Link seems to go off just kind of continuing to do the adventuring thing. Like he comes in, uh, saves the day, and then goes off somewhere else. Um, Minish Cap, I guess he kind of stuck around. In Four Swords, Four Swords was a little bit of a off as well because we had I think he just put the Four Sword back. We don't really have a huge storyline for him. But in Ocarina of Time, we have Link either as adult Link just simply not existing because he went back to the child timeline, and in the child timeline, we know that after he warned everybody about Ganon, he went off to look for Navi and led to Majora's Mask. And after Majora's Mask, he, you might recall, he was not apparently invited to the festival and instead headed off on his own while everyone else was celebrating the Mask Festival and Anju and Cafe's wedding and everything. And then I don't recall Four Sword Adventures, the ending of that. But original Legend of Zelda, I guess he stuck around because he was in Zelda 2. After Zelda 2, we don't really know what he did, although in these two, Link had started out as an adventurer and was just kind of someone that Impa ran into and saw that he had a heroic destiny on his hand. Twilight Princess, Link didn't go off adventuring, but he did return to his village. So he didn't stick around Hyrule Castle Town. The Oracle's games, Link uh, went in, saved the day, and then presumably went back to his own place. At least there he got to hang out with people and party a little bit, but presumably went on. Didn't seem like he was sticking around permanently. Link to the Past, we know that Link after this continued traveling because that led directly to Link's Awakening, where he was traveling the world to gain experience in case Ganon ever rose again. And then, of course, in Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, Link at the end is setting off to go help in search for a new land of Hyrule. And Phantom Hourglass, the whole thing was just kind of a detour in the middle of that. So, what I'm driving at here is I think the Dunno ending kind of seems to be the ending for most of the links here, which makes it a little bit interesting that then um, being Dunno, it seems like that's not only kind of a generic option, but also the option that uh, seems the least. I don't know. Maybe people would be likely to pick it, but it seems like it's the least obvious to pick. And this Link seems like he's going to settle down, be either be an engineer or be a warrior, but not like an adventurer who's going off to other places to explore and everything, but a warrior who's going to stay more at home to guard and protect his homeland. And I'm noticing, I think that actually really fits with where this is being kind of the last game of the timeline. Of course, it's possible there could be more games after. We haven't played every game yet, and Nintendo can always put out more. But if we look at particularly these three games as a trilogy and a little mini story, I'm moving my mouse as if you can see them, but that's on the wrong screen here. There we go. These three games. Um, so Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. If, when we look at these games in particular, in Wind Waker we took out Ganon. In Spirit Tracks we're in this new land of Hyrule, and we have found the ancient evil's been unleashed, but we've defeated the ancient evil, and it kind of seems like peace has sort of come to the land. Even the Locomo, they said their job was to help protect humanity, and they said, "Yeah, it seems like things are pretty good here. We're gonna peace out." So the fact that they're leaving, not because they're forced to, but just because they think there's nothing left to do, seem to indicate this is kind of a sort of a happy ending for the whole story, somewhat. I might get off there. Okay. So I just found that a little bit interesting, and especially because I don't know if currently if that there are any more Zelda games that would be said to take place after this one. Of course, our timeline here is not, other people might have different timelines, but this definitely seems to be fitting as an end game. So, all right, what else do we want to look at? I did want to take a look at I did want to mention the Princess Zelda of this game is definitely, the seems to be the most developed and most has the most personality of any Zelda we've encountered so far. Uh, Part of that is simply the fact that she joins us for most of the game, so we actually interact with her a bit, as opposed to many of the games where even in games like Ocarina of Time, where Zelda is active in doing things, or perhaps more notably um, for this game, Wind Waker or Phantom Hourglass, where Tetra is Princess Zelda. Well, Phantom Hourglass, maybe a bad data point. 'Cause Zelda's a statue for most of that game. But even in like Wind Waker, where Zelda is Tetra and she's doing her own thing, we're not spending a lot of time with her. So she's definitely has she's definitely developed more than some of the Zeldas who we see even less. But here, the fact that we're with Zelda the whole time, she's basically our travel companion, which kind of similar to the likes of Navi and Midna. Um, you know, she fills the role of being one who's with us, who's helping us out with her own abilities, who's sometimes commenting on stuff, whether we like it or not. And in addition to that, she's also our partner in solving the dungeons with being able to take over the phantoms. Um, Even more so once we find out there's multiple types of phantoms and different phantoms have different abilities that we can use in different ways. And so in that regard, she's also kind of like Medley and Makar here. You might recall in Wind Waker, these were the sages that we had to take them to uh, the Earth Temple and Wind Temple, I believe. And uh, throughout both those temples, they would join us, and we would occasionally have to take control of them to help solve puzzles. And so yeah, this Zelda has a much bigger role than any of the Zeldas we've seen up to this point. And interestingly enough, the timing of this is just a little bit interesting because the just I think back in September, a new Zelda game released where people were saying for the first time you get to play as Princess Zelda. Well, that's not quite true because as we saw in this game, we got to play as Princess Zelda back in Spirit Tracks. She's just not the main person we're playing as, so uh, it's Echoes of Wisdom is still a first in that regard, but we we did beat them by a couple decades here. So as I mentioned before, these three games seem to form a trilogy. Um, in that each one is not it's not just that we can kind of link it to the other games. These games are very clearly defined to each other. We have Wind Waker leading directly into Phantom Hourglass. It's the same link, and then Spirit Tracks takes place about 100 years later. But not only does it take place afterwards and make reference to these, but we have references to some of the characters. We see Linebeck the Third, the grandson presumably of Linebeck from Phantom Hourglass, and we also have Nico, who of course was one of Tetra's pirates in Wind Waker. He and in Phantom Hourglass, and then is kind of the one who seems to be taking care of Link or something at the beginning of Spirit Tracks. So he, in a way, is kind of the one character who's sort of our. Um, he's the one that it's kind of holding the or tying these three games together. Maybe we should have called this the Nico trilogy. But I called it the Transportation trilogy because I did find it interesting that all three of these games focus on use of these vehicles and kind of differentiate the traveling around bit to the walking around and adventuring part. And of course, all the games have had there's a little bit of difference going through a dungeon versus running around in Hyrule Field, but it's usually not this big of a distinction. I think the only thing I think even comes close is Zelda 2 kind of having the overworld where you walk around and then when you encounter monsters you end up in um, in a fight screen, but that's not quite the same. That's just doing combat differently. It's not differentiating really, travel um, and the more local stuff. So of course in Wind Waker we had King of Red Lions. In Phantom Hourglass we had the SS Linebeck, and in Spirit Tracks we have Train. And I didn't notice until I started getting until I was pulling these slides together. But you can even see on the box art, in Spirit Tracks we have the train right there. It's actually the same train picture. It looks like just uh, kind of grayscale. In Phantom Hourglass we have we don't see the SS Linebeck on the front, although we do see Linebeck himself, and we do see the pirate ship. So there's still focus on the ships and the ocean there. And then Wind Waker has the King of Red Lions very prominently on there, and even in there's some other versions of the cover, especially in other regions. But even then, King of Red Lions shows up in the Zelda Wind Waker title here, and so uh, even when they've used other images besides this picture of him, we still see the ship on the cover. So I'm not entirely sure what to make of this. Why there was this distinction, um, this kind of focus on the travel aspect, other than I guess for the first two games. Well, the ending of Wind Waker and kind of through to Phantom Hourglass, you are searching for a new Hyrule, and so the ocean, I guess, does evoke um, this concept of exploration and uh, travel, and there being a lot of world out there. Especially when you see a huge empty ocean, it really start getting a feel for how small things are. And then Spirit Tracks switching to a train. I guess it's still transportation thematically, but a train is a lot more restricted. Maybe that's kind of figuring into the Hylians have now found their home, so we're traveling around by train, but it's more restricted. We're not just going off into the wild. We're sticking around where there's already tracks, where there's in the lands that are ours now. So another aspect of these three games that I saw, definitely in the openings at least, was the storytelling. And it's not that we haven't seen other games that have open with cutscenes that tell stories. I think the Ocarina of Time tells, if not immediately, it at least tells pretty early on the story of the goddesses creating Hyrule and how the Triforce came to be. We've seen games like this, but all three of these just kind of really stand out, that they really highlight hey, here's a legend, here's a story that's done in a completely different art style. That it's clear that this is not you know a cut scene within the game. That, well, it's not like supposed to be things happening within the world. It's like somebody is telling this story to somebody. And in Wind Waker, we had this very uh, it's very important looking style. This looks like some official legends and things, and I don't know that it was ever told to us who was telling this. But considering the point of the legend was to talk about, hey, why boys on this island wear green clothes when they come of age, and then it goes directly from there into Link waking up and his sister telling him, "Hey, Grandma's got your clothes ready. That 'cause it's your birthday today." It kind of makes me think that this story was told to Link either by his grandma or maybe by one of the old men on the island who have been training him and telling him what he needs to know. Either way, this is a legend that has been passed down to him. in Phantom Hourglass, we have the much more cartoony style of Nico recapping the story of Wind Waker and telling us how how Link came to be traveling with the pirates. And I really like Nico's style and having his kind of little. I was thinking kind of construction paper cutout, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's quite like that. Maybe like it's kind of a mix of cutout paper and like watercolor painting or something. Either way, it's kind of fun. And then in the last one, we have the Legend of the Locomo. Again, in a different art style. I forget if Nico was the one who told us this. I guess this art style does kind of match the art that we saw at the end of Nico when Nico was telling the new story, the story of Link and Zelda defeating Malladus to the children. So yeah, I think this was Nico's. I guess he's had time to work on it a bit more when he's not actively traveling on a pirate ship, helping to explore new lands. And so each of the games kind of starting with this very deliberate story, uh, I thought just made them feel very connected in that way, and made all of them feel like they're part of the larger legend. And I really like the way that Nico was kind of included as the, um, at least for these two, the last two, he's the one who's kind of tying it together. He's the one who's telling the story. Uh, he clearly, when we see his depiction of the pirates in Wind Waker, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy. For him, it seems like being a pirate was definitely more of a just the freedom of the sea and the adventure and exploration and hanging out with his friends, and much more so than pillaging and plundering. He actually seems like he'd fit in on like a One Piece pirate crew or something. And then I didn't even notice this till I got this picture of him, but Nico, when he was younger, wore blue bandana. Now he's bald, but keeps bandana in his pocket. I guess doesn't need it to hold his hair back anymore, but still carries it around with him, and still has his pirate belt buckles, kind of reminiscing about the old days. And then even within Spirit Tracks, Nico is also very much the. In addition to telling us the story, he was also the one that gave us the stamp book. You remember, and wanted us to visit all these places. So even then, he seemed very interested in like the adventure and exploration and finding all these new places to explore. So, looking at the themes of the game, teamwork continues to be a big one. I think we've seen throughout the Zelda series many examples of Link needs help from the sages, or Link needs help from the different peoples that he encounters in order to move on, and which is not necessarily where you might have thought the series would go when we have the first couple games where Link is basically the only one doing anything. Part of that could be technical limitations, but part of that does seem to be a deliberate move towards, hey, we want Link to not just be Link is the hero of destiny often, or the chosen one, or the one who's going to wield the sacred blade, but he still needs quite a bit of help. This is not a solo effort. Here we get it a little bit more explicitly because we have Zelda with us, and in the dungeons we have to have her help. We I don't think, short of using like glitches or something, I don't think you could beat these dungeons without utilizing Zelda and her abilities in the Phantoms. But we also get it with the Locomo, where we have, in order to open up the new places to all the palaces or dungeons or temples or whatever they were, we had to play the duets with the Locomo, in the very last one with Zelda, which ended up not becoming a duo, becoming not a duet, but like a full little uh, over there, 8 of us all together, a little octet or something. And so yeah, we so I was just thinking of how all of starting to play the song and then all of the other locomos kind of coming in to join us with their various instruments also remind me very much of Link's Awakening, which also had Marin in it, and Marin's personality was a little bit similar to Zelda's in this one. But yes, we have teamwork with the locomos and uh, with Zelda, continuing a theme that we've seen throughout the games. And then I don't know if this would really be a theme, but it was definitely a big part of the game seemed to be service. And that throughout the game we're continuing to transport passengers and cargo. And part of that is yes, we have side quests in a lot of the games, things that we can do that are optional. Um, but I think in this game, especially because the focus is on the trains, the fact that we're using the trains both for the main quest and uh, to transport other people and try to get these things, and even kind of as silly as it is, the fact that when we were transporting passengers, they would demand that we slow down and follow all the signs and everything. They really couldn't care less that we're being attacked by enemies unless the enemies hit us. What they're concerned about is, hey, there's a sign that says you blow the whistle, you need to blow that whistle. So it was definitely a little bit of a different take, rather silly, but yeah, it made for a very interesting game that we're and so I was just thinking that also seems to kind of fit with our what I was saying before about how this seems to be kind of a happy ending type of game, bringing a bit of closure to at least the story of these 3 games. This world is not one where it's like, oh, everything's destroyed and we're going to have to start rebuilding, and so okay, let's start the rebuilding process. Like this world, we found New Hyrule. We're going to keep New Hyrule going even while we're fighting this villain, and it just seems kind of highlight the fact that there's still lots of people going about their lives and doing things while we're moving while we're moving through the game. Looking at the Locomo themselves, um, rather interesting people that we don't see before. We've never seen before. Don't think we ever see them again in any of the official games. Um, and I did want to just kind of take a look at them. Uh, I thought it was interesting with their names, and I have Locomo and Rocomo on here because I'm including the Japanese names because I think it's interesting how the names are puns in Japanese, and then the same wordplay doesn't really work in English, but they did choose very similar wordplay. So the the theme of these is that all of them are named after stuff having to do with trains. So we have Angine, uh, whose name is very similar to engine, and her Japanese name was Sharin, which means wheel. Um, and for Burn, his name is clearly just another spelling for burn. And I saw somebody mentioned that Bryn, Byrne, if you just switch the Y and the R, is an Old English word for fire. So there could also, depending on whether the translators knew that, that could also be another level of kind of wordplay. And his Japanese name was kind of the most bizarre because it's Digo, which is through a bizarre way the Japanese love to shorten their words and kind of contract their words. And so basically, this is somehow they went from D51 or D51, uh, D go ichi, and came up with Digo. And the D51 is that's the model of a particular type of train that I guess was pretty popular in Japan at some point. So would have been a very obscure kind of reference. The train geeks would have known this. Like I guess Digo was actually what what people who knew about trains and stuff would call this type of train, and that's why he's named that. But people who haven't heard of that train, especially Westerners who don't who haven't studied all about Japanese trains, would have no idea. So that's why he became Burn. And I'm not sure why he's the only one who in Japanese was named after a model of train rather than something to do with trains. Maybe that had maybe that's highlighting his differentness and the fact that he's kind of villainous at first, although he does have a little bit of a redemption arc at the end. And before I saw the ending cutscene and we saw Angine pop out of her cart, we did have. I was kind of wondering if these carts were something they were riding in, or uh, whether this was like actually their lower bodies. And looking at Burn in particular, he doesn't have a cart, but you can definitely see he's got rather short legs compared to the rest of them. So if this is how most of the locomos are built, I guess I can see why, especially as they get older, they might decide that yeah, riding around in a cart is much easier than trying to walk around everywhere. Maybe it's also a status thing because Byrne said that one of his things was he was all upset that he hadn't been given the status that the other locomos had yet. We had Gauge, who's just a respelling of the word gauge. How you're measuring uh, the width of the track, or not the width of the tracks, but the space between the rails. Um, Very important, particularly when you have different countries neighboring each other using different gauges and have to transfer between them. And his Japanese name was Barubu, which is kind of the Japanese pronunciation of the English word valve. Similarly, Steam, who's uh, in a very, very clever twist, is named after the word steam. His Japanese name was Shimu, which is, again, like a Japanese pronunciation of the English word steam. That one they didn't have to do too much translation, just more of a transliteration. Carbon is a uh, relating to the word carbon, I guess relating or to the probably relating from the burning process of things. Most of these, actually thinking of it, gauge might not just be track gauge, but also you would have gauges to as in the instruments to tell you you know what the pressure in the boiler and everything is. And if we look at it that way, then all of these guys pretty much their English names, well, except for rail, kind of tie into the boiler process and the actual um, the actual mechanics of the train. Burn, of course, being what you're doing with the coal to heat up the water. But Carbon's Japanese name was Senrin, or leading wheel. That's the wheels that you have at the very front of the train that don't have power driven to them, but they're there to just kind of help hold up the front of the train and to help guide the train around turns. Embros is related to the word embers, what you have left after you've burned all the coal, um, or once the coal's burned down, you still have the embers heating things. And his Japanese name was Boira, which is Japanese pronunciation of boiler. And then rail, relating to the word rail, and his Japanese name was Tenda, which is just tender. The car that would normally be right behind the engine, filled with coal, and what you'd get the coal out of to um, shovel into the engine. So it's interesting that they had all these puns in Japanese and were able to kind of keep not the same puns for all of them. Some of them like steam is it just became steam. His was pretty easy, but they were able to keep the same kinds of puns and still relate all of them to to train terms or things related to trains and engines, while still making it sound more like Western style names rather than the Japanese names. And looking at the music in this game, um, we had two types. We had the diegetic, the music that's within the game, and we had the spirit flute. Or sorry, I don't want to make that sound like that's in it. Diegetic and spirit flute. No, within the diegetic category, we had spirit flute. So kind of a return to what we've seen in the Zelda games before, of a magical musical instrument that when we play different songs, we get different effects. We've seen this with ocarinas. Uh, we've seen this with like the Wind Waker. So it's been around for a while, and we had both the effects that we could play normally, you're being able to find a hidden spot or get those birds to come to us so we could fly around with them. We could also play duets with the Locomo and to get special effects. For the non-diegetic music, the music that's just we're hearing it, but presumably the people within the game aren't. It's just for the player's benefit. I did find the train theme very interesting and kind of fits with what we were saying earlier about the different types of transportation. And so I'm going to pull up. Let's see. Hopefully you'll be able to hear this. I want to go over a few of the songs and listen to some of the music from Wind Waker, then from Phantom Hourglass, and then Spirit Tracks, and see if we can kind of hear how the main travel music sort of fits with the different modes of transportation. So, first, Wind Waker, where we were traveling around, sailing on the King of Red Lions, and hopefully be able to hear this. So, with that song, I think I don't know about you, but I can certainly hear sort of a uh, ocean to that. We start with kind of I don't know if really be the rhythm, but the part that's kind of driving through the song, the da 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 da, kind of have this rising and falling. It seems very kind of floaty, kind of the waves there, and then as it gets into the main theme, we have it's just bouncing around quite a bit and seems to be sort of flowing this way and that. To me, it sounds very much like wind blowing something around on the waves. Part of that could just be picturing. Part of that could just be from having played the game a lot and kind of picturing the seagulls flying alongside the ship as we're sailing around. But it seems to very much fit that way. So now let's take a listen to Phantom Hourglass, which was also uh, traveling on a ship. Although this one was not a sailing ship, this was a uh, steamship, presumably a steamship. I don't know if we were told what the propulsion was, but it's or what the engine was, but it had paddle wheels, and I think usually those were steam. And this is a very similar theme, although there's some differences. I don't know if those differences really represent the different type of ship, but let's listen to it. Very much kind of a similar opening. So very similar opening. We still have kind of the flowing waves at the beginning. To me, maybe this is me reading too much into it, but to me it doesn't sound like we don't get the really high flying notes, and it doesn't seem to flow as freely. It seems like it's more condensed, which I wonder if that could be symbolic of, hey, we're not in a uh, we're not in a sailing ship just kind of at the mercy of the winds anymore. Now we're in a paddle wheel ship that um, we're more in control. We're still on the waves. We're still kind of going where we will, but we're more in control. We're less just kind of at the whims of the wind. And then we get to Spirit Tracks, and Spirit Tracks is going to sound very very different. So let's start here, and I think what I hear is kind of at the beginning. I kind of hear a train, you know, getting ready to go, and then kind of getting up to speed. Let's listen. So there, I to me that sounds much more. Um, I mean, it's a completely different instrumentation for one thing, but the in the background, instead of the da 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 da, like these notes that kind of flow up and down together, we have the da 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 da. We had just these short little staccato notes that are just very regular, very um, very keeping the beat. And to me, it makes it sound very mechanical. Kind of brings me in mind of the train, having the pistons going, um, turning the wheels, just kind of keeping it on course. And then we have the bit at the end there, which to me almost sounds like a train whistle coming in when we kind of get I'm not even sure what instrument that would be that's kind of coming in. Let's see if I can back up. This one right here. Like we have this like flute or pipe or something that's playing the main melody, and then we have these strings that seem to be representing the train whistle, which is a little bit odd, a little bit of a reversal, but kind of fun. And so to me, it seems like we have these, we had these three different themes that really kind of fit with their respective their respective modes of transportation. And of course, you can't really hear it in this song because this is just the song set to play it at a particular speed. But in the game, you might recall there were times when if we sped up or slowed down or hit reverse, the song would speed up or slow down or play kind of a different, slightly different version of the song or just the harmony track or something. So uh, using the using the music, I guess where I'm going is they're using the music to really kind of help you feel like you're with the game. You're going to use a song that sounds very trainish to go along with the train, and then using the different speeds in the music, it really really makes the music part of you know uh, helps you tell or helps guide what you're experiencing and how you're experiencing it. So, and one of the things I was uncertain about this before. Um, I think we can kind of clearly add this Princess Zelda to Link's list of loves. Before the ending cutscene, it seemed like it was just kind of a like, well, she could kind of fit there, maybe as um, it was the friend kind of thing. But there definitely seemed like there was a little bit of romance going on at the end, and especially if as long as Link's not in his dunno ending where he's just heading off to nowhere, if he's sticking around, then from what we've seen of this world, like Link and Zelda seem to be kind of the only characters who are roughly their respective ages. Like we don't really see a lot of other uh, older kids, young adults in that in that kind of like older teen demographic. So if they want to get married, they don't really have a lot of options anyway. But yeah, it is kind of nice to see that this wasn't just a like some of these where it was just a little bit of flirtatious dialogue or a little bit of like, hey, I met this person and now they're in love with Link or something. It's like they actually spent some time together. There actually seems to be a bit of a connection there, which is kind of fun. And so with that, I'm I think we're done discussing some of the discussing this Zelda. I know there's some stuff we've gone into before, particularly with the enemies. I think what I'm going to do is rather than go over all the enemies each time, if there's particular enemies that stand out, I'll go over them. Otherwise, I'll wait and in a few games maybe I'll when we have a bunch of differences maybe go through them again, or down the line maybe I'll do a video just going through the enemies or something, where we can just focus on that. But for now, yeah, we've beaten what I think so far has been one of the most bizarre Zelda stories in the series. I don't recall any that really match the level of there's trains that are there's train tracks that are binding an evil demon, and uh, you need to go around and transport people to different places to open up new tracks so that you can beat him. That's it's very bizarre, but in a very fun way. This was a very delightful game, and I'm very very pleased to actually experience it. So I think we'll end a little bit early for this. Let's see. For this Friday, I will not be streaming, so we won't be having Hogwarts Legacy this Friday. I should be back next Monday, so we'll continue with our next Zelda game, which is going to be Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And I'm really looking forward to this one. It originally came out on the Wii and used motion controls, but I personally, in my experience, I think the motion controls here worked a little bit better than the touch controls for the Nintendo DS Zeldas. So I can't guarantee I'll be a lot better with it, but hopefully we'll at least won't have quite so many difficulties in the fights. But we will. I'll need to try to dig out my Wii U and its sensor bar and get all this stuff set up, and we'll look at doing that next week. So with that, we have a little bit of a getting out a little bit early. So thank you for coming. Have a good week, and I will see you next time. Bye.